Imagine this. You are known as the good one, the reliable one, the person people call when their life is unraveling. You listen, you understand, you accommodate, you smooth things over, you absorb tension, you forgive quickly. And at first, this feels like maturity. It feels like emotional intelligence. It feels like you're doing something right. But then something subtle begins to happen. You wake up tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. You feel irritation you can't justify. A quiet resentment forms, not toward others, but toward yourself. And the strangest part is this: from the outside, nothing looks wrong. People still like you. They still trust you. They still call you a good person. So you don't question it. Until one day, a thought slips in, uninvited and uncomfortable. What if your kindness isn't making you noble? What if it's slowly erasing you? What if the very trait you built your identity around is the reason you feel invisible, exhausted, and oddly powerless? This is where Friedrich Nietzsche steps in, not to comfort you, but to warn you. Nietzsche didn't hate kindness. He distrusted kindness that came from fear. Because not all kindness is strength. Some of it is avoidance. Some of it is the terror of conflict. Some of it is the hope that if you're good enough, life will finally be fair. And here's the paradox that no one prepares you for. The kinder you are without boundaries, the less weight your presence carries. You don't become respected. You become manageable. You begin living in reaction mode, adjusting yourself to other people's comfort. And slowly, without drama, something essential fades. Your edge, your clarity, your sense of direction. You don't become cruel. You don't become evil. You become harmless. And harmless people don't shape their lives. They adapt to whatever is handed to them. So ask yourself, honestly, why are you kind? Is it because you choose to be? Or because you're afraid of what happens if you're not? Afraid of being disliked? Afraid of being misunderstood? Afraid of being seen as selfish or difficult? When was the last time you told the truth knowing it would disrupt the room? When was the last time you said no without explaining yourself? When was the last time your kindness didn't cost you something vital? If these questions make you uneasy, that's not a flaw. That's awareness waking up. Because beneath this pattern lies something deeper. Fear doesn't look like fear here. It looks like being easy to work with, like being emotionally available, like never making things complicated. Psychology has a name for this. Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask you wear to survive society. The persona isn't evil. Everyone needs one. But when you confuse the mask with who you are, you lose yourself. If your identity becomes the good one, then anger, refusal, ambition, blunt truth, all of it feels forbidden. So you repress it. And what's repressed doesn't disappear. It becomes the shadow. Your shadow doesn't explode outward. It leaks. As resentment, as passive aggression, as exhaustion without a clear cause, as bitterness toward people who take too much, even though you never told them to stop. You feel used and guilty for feeling that way. So you suppress it again, and the cycle tightens. Nietzsche saw this pattern everywhere. He called it a morality born not from strength, but from survival. A value system built around endurance, obedience, self-sacrifice, and moral superiority through suffering. If I'm good enough, I'll be safe. If I endure, I'll be rewarded. If I never assert myself, I'll be untouchable. But this kind of morality doesn't elevate life. It reverses it. Instead of asking, "What do I want to create?" you ask, "What will keep me safe?" Instead of expressing strength, you hide behind virtue. And over time, kindness stops being a choice. It becomes a reflex. This is reinforced everywhere. At work, you're praised for reliability. In relationships, you're valued for understanding. In society, you're rewarded for not resisting. But no one asks what it costs you. Because systems benefit from people who absorb pressure instead of pushing back. So your behavior adapts. You choose the path of least resistance. You avoid decisions that might disappoint someone. You delay bold moves because they would disrupt the balance. Your brain learns a simple rule: safety over truth. Each avoided conflict brings short-term relief. Your nervous system relaxes. Your brain calls it success, so it repeats the behavior. But the trade-off is invisible. Short-term relief slowly steals long-term power. You hesitate before speaking. You second-guess your instincts. You explain boundaries you don't owe explanations for. You feel guilty for wanting more, not because you're weak, but because you've been conditioned to appease. And appeasement shapes destiny. In relationships, kindness without boundaries attracts need, not respect. People come to you when they're lost or overwhelmed, but they rarely see you as a reference point for strength. You become the emotional support system, the listener, the stabilizer, never the leader. And when you finally push back, you're told you've changed. So you retreat again, not because you want to, but because being misunderstood feels unbearable. At work, your kindness doesn't make you indispensable. It makes you replaceable. You take on extra tasks. You fix problems you didn't create. You meet deadlines that quietly drain you. You become the glue holding broken systems together, which means the system never has to change. Your kindness subsidizes dysfunction. And slowly, your ambition adjusts. You stop aiming high, not because you lack ability, but because standing out feels dangerous. Visibility invites judgment. Judgment threatens approval. So you cap your own growth. Then comes the deepest cost: identity erosion. When your worth depends on being kind, anger feels immoral, desire feels selfish, assertiveness feels wrong. So you moralize suppression. You call it being mature, being selfless, being above ego. But emotions don't vanish when ignored. They turn inward. Anger becomes depression. Desire becomes numbness. Ambition becomes cynicism. You begin to feel like life is happening next to you, not through you. And because this feels normal, you don't fight it. This is how destinies are shaped without consent. Not through catastrophe, but through thousands of small self-betrayals that felt reasonable at the time. Until one day something shifts. Not anger, clarity. You stop asking, "How do I remain good?" and start asking, "Where did I abandon myself?"
This is where rebellion begins. Not loud, not dramatic, internal. You notice the split second before you say yes, the tightness in your chest, the urge to explain yourself, and you pause. That pause is everything, because for the first time, you are choosing. Your nervous system resists. Guilt surges. Old identities protest. You wonder if you're becoming selfish. But here's the truth Nietzsche understood. If your kindness collapses the moment it's not rewarded, it was never virtue. It was bargaining. So you practice small acts of defiance. You stop over-explaining. You allow silence. You let others be disappointed. And something surprising happens. The world doesn't end. Some people drift away. Others adjust. A few reveal themselves. Your presence changes. Your yes gains weight. Your kindness becomes meaningful. Your energy stops leaking everywhere. You're not cruel. You're precise. You stop rescuing where it enables weakness. You give where it cultivates strength. You stop absorbing chaos. You allow consequences. This isn't coldness, it's respect. True compassion doesn't protect people from reality. It respects them enough to face it. This is what people miss. Kindness is not a moral achievement. It is a byproduct. When it becomes the goal, it becomes distortion. True kindness doesn't come from fear. It comes from having a self and choosing to give from it. Your responsibility was never to be kind. It was to be integrated, to align what you feel, what you say, and what you do. From that alignment, kindness flows naturally, sometimes gentle, sometimes firm, sometimes silent. Life itself isn't polite, so why did you think living well would be? When you stop worshiping kindness, you don't become cruel. You become free. Free to give without resentment. Free to say no without guilt. Free to stand without apology. And this is the final paradox. Only those who can afford not to be kind are capable of true kindness. Because they give without fear. They help without disappearing. They love without kneeling. So if something feels unsettled inside you right now, that's good. That's an old identity cracking. Look back at your life. Where were you kind when you should have been honest? Where did you endure when you should have chosen? Where did you call it love when it was fear? Don't rush the answers. This isn't a checklist. It's an awakening. Because once you see it, you can't go back to being harmless. You finally understand. Kindness was never meant to replace strength. It was meant to flow from it. And that's the difference between a life that looks good and a life that is actually lived.